All right, we're ready to go.
Crispy bacon.
We're recording. The sound's working this time.
Alrighty.
Excellent.
Good morning. This is Crispy Bacon showing you the Seagate hard drive. Only the crispiest around. Is this mouse on?
Don't mind. If I
You're
buy,
messing with my other screen.
if I buy a hard drive from you, would it be crispy?
Shh. Sorry, no. We're Seagate. About us. They're the headquarters. We started out as Shugart Technology in 1978. We have over 41,000, my bad, employees as of fiscal year of 2017. And we made $11.2 billion in revenue during fiscal year of 2018. We're one of the one of the biggest companies out there when it comes to hard drives, along with Western Digital, headquarters in Cabrillo, California. Our goal: here to show you 2 secondary storage devices that will be compatible with the motherboard.
Be softer to my mouse.
Up here is the Gigabyte B450 DS3H Micro ATX. It has 4 SATA 6 gigabytes per second, and they wanted to get it a 2 terabyte hard drive and a 500 gig secondary solid state. I know I put the transition in. Giving you the Seagate Barracuda 2 terabyte hard drive. There's a big picture for you people, just so this lady right here can actually see it. It's a 2 terabyte with a speed of 7200 RPM. Seek times are roughly 8.5 milliseconds for reading and 9.5 milliseconds for write. 64 megabytes of buffering with max read and write speed of 220 megabytes a second. This thing comes with a 2-year warranty. If it dies, come see us. With only a price of $59.99, you can't beat it.
Okay, before we move on to the next one, what is the price per gigabyte for that one? Somebody do the math on their calculator that's not frantically trying to finish their PowerPoint.
2,000, see.
What?
It's 2,000 gigabytes divided by 59.99. Yeah.
Per gig, so
Here we
2,000
have
divided by
59.99 divided by 2,000.
I'm sorry, $59.99.
0.02999995.
029. Okay. That is the only way to compare this price, right? It doesn't mean anything if you can't look at it per gig. So, so we're looking at 2.9 cents per gig for this particular drive. Okay.
Moving on, we got the Seagate Barracuda 500 gigabyte SSD. Ignore the caching there. We got read speeds sequential of 516 megabytes a second with a random read speed of 90,000 IOPS input output per second. I think that's how it is. That translates roughly to 351 megabytes a second. The write speeds are slightly slower in the sequential side with 535 megabytes a second. The random write speed stays the same with 90,000 IOPS. It has a mean time before failure of about 1.8 billion hours with a 5-year warranty. Trust me, 5 years will get a long way. Price of $87.49.
Okay, so how much is this one per gigabyte? Somebody do that one for me.
A lot more.
I'm gonna say about 40. I'm gonna say 4.3 cents per gigabyte.
What do we do, like storage?
87.49, or just do 87 divided by
That's probably like 10 cents per gig.
0.174.
0.17.
Yeah.
Okay, so
0.174.
17 cents, 17.5 cents
Versus 3 cents.
per gigabytes, as opposed to 3 cents per gigabyte.
And it is 3D. I think it's like 3D TOC for the NAND part of it. I forgot to put that on there. Any questions?
Yeah, how long is 1.8 million hours in years?
17.
Well, let's see. It's 24 hours a day, 365.5 days a year.
I didn't ask you how to figure it out. I asked what the answer is.
Okay.
So how many years are they saying this would last if you use the MTBF? So yes, you divide by 24 and then divide that by 365 and it gives you how many years?
205 years.
How many? 205?
0.5.
You might be dead, but these hard drive won't.
You can pass it on to your granddaughter. Still going strong.
And that's why those MTBF is a misnomer, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice that they give you one,
But we need
but
to put out
obviously,
there our fair rate.
you know, it'd be nice if it just lasted 20 years, which is probably never going to happen with any drive you type.
Any questions? Anybody?
I don't have anything.
And here's the works cited page. Stay crispy, my friends.
Why are we not printed two-sided? You used my two-sided printer and you still didn't print two-sided.
You're not going to be very happy at any of us.
Prepare to be disappointed.
Hold on.
Who's next? Anyone? Anyone? I have to spin?
Who is the
Now let's spin.
I'm probably the only one here.
I had mine finished, and then
More people
stuff
have
happened.
finished.
Why are you surprised?
When's the last time we spun the wheel?
We haven't spun the wheel in a while,
You
but
like the
the
champions.
winner is Daytona! That's kind of funny. Okay.
Convenient.
Convenient.
Here's my project here.
Oh, gosh.
It's probably not too second.
At least it's his paper that he's wasting.
Oddly specific.
Well, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, I am Brian Bull from Newegg Distribution Services. So, one of our drives here is going to come from Samsung. So, I want to tell you a little bit about it. Founder was Lee, that name. Okay. Founded in March 1st, 1938, so this company goes a long ways back. Our revenue as of 2016 was $174 billion US. We have over 480,000 employees, and this is 2014, so this has definitely rose over the years. Make a whole range of electronics from SSDs, kitchen appliances, basically whatever you want, computer monitors. We dabble in a lot of things. This is the HQ right there. This is in Seoul, South Korea.
Seoul.
Alright.
You ever watched MASH? You should know Seoul just because that's where they always want to go on
R&R.
R&R to Seoul. Yep.
So there it is right there, just off by Japan right there. Alright, another drive is by Seagate, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. So we were previously known as SureGuard Technologies. It's founded in November 1st, 1979 as the aforementioned name. $8.458 billion US as of the first quarter in 2019. We have over 41,000 employees, and that's in 2017, so that's most likely growth since then. And we specialize in storage devices that are consumer and enterprise, so we're completely on the playing field with all drives. This includes stuff like hybrid drives, SSDs, and hard drives. So this is also here in Cupertino, California. Now, this is for the motherboard that we're going to use the drives with. That's a little picture of the storage right there. That's the MSI Godlike Gaming. And these are the specs. So it has an M.2 PCIe module, and it also supports M.2 SATA 3. That is only up to 32 gigabytes a second, and that does not support RAID. That's a picture right there. And we have 10 SATA 3 ports, 2 SATA 3 ports reserved for SATA Express, and and it supports RAID 0, 1, 5, and 10, but that's only on SATA ports 1 through 6. So we have to look in the manual and see which SATA ports are numbered, and that's what will support the RAID. And 7 through 10 SATA ports only support IDE mode and AHCI mode.
Do you know what AHCI means? Because I don't.
Yeah. So this is the first solid state drive here. It's Samsung 850 Pro 2 terabyte SSD. Specifications on this one: obviously 2 terabytes, 2.5-inch form factor. Has a 2 million hour mean time before failure. And it's out with SATA 3. That's the interface that it uses. The max sequential read is 550 with the write 520. The IOPS, it's up to, so it's not always going to run at that at constant rate. It's 100,000 read and 90,000 write. If we convert that to megabytes per second, it turns out to be 495.75 or 77 megabytes per second and 472.40 megabytes a second write.
So go back one slide. So what's faster, the SATA connection or the drive itself? SATA 3, when you're
6
connected to
gigabytes
it,
a second.
is it 600?
Right.
6 gigabytes or 600 megabytes, 6 gigabits or 600 megabytes. So it's still, we still don't have things that go as fast as SATA 3, but they're obviously faster than SATA 2, which is why SATA 3 came out. So anyway, so it's not a limit factor. That's sort of
Right.
the point.
Right.
Limiting factor. You don't know what limit factor.
So this uses 3D VNAND. So it's a vertical technology that has the cells stacked vertically instead of horizontally like most drives. That's what it writes to. 3.3 watts on read and 3.0 watts on write. Different power consumptions for different things that you're doing. Operates between 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 158 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 0 degrees Celsius and around 7 degrees Celsius. This is a whopping 849.
Okay, so this is not a picture of the drive we're talking about. We're talking about, are we talking about the 2 terabyte? We're not talking about the M2 right now.
I don't have it.
Oh, okay.
This is the picture of the drive.
Oh, that's the picture of the drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so 849.99. What's that per gig? $849? Where the heck did you find it for $849?
Anyway, I mean, that's what's up here for. Let me go to the link here.
Watch
It
it
seems
drop.
crazy high.
That's
Oh, it's even dropped for you a little bit.
42.5 cents per gig.
You know what? I think it's because it's the old version. The new one's the 860.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the 850 is so high because they have limited number of them in stock. The 850 had a better warranty than the 860. I think the 860 only has a 5-year warranty, and I still don't know why I went and would buy that. It's not saying you can't have presented that. I'm just saying I think that's why it's so expensive, because that seems outrageously expensive in today's prices. What is that per gigabyte? Who did the math?
It's 42.5 cents.
Okay. That may win for our most expensive one.
Alright.
I assumed that was an M2. Is it expensive? Is it? I just thought you had the wrong picture. Okay.
Any questions?
Other than why it's so expensive.
Alright, so this is just a review of the motherboard specs, the storage. We'll look at that for a second.
So you have a, which one, you're giving us a 2 terabyte SSD and a,
5 terabyte hard drive.
oh, and a 5 terabyte, okay. For some reason I thought you had a different selection there. Sorry about that.
Alright, so this is Seagate Enterprise NAS 5 terabyte hard drive. Obviously made by Seagate. 5 terabytes, of course. 3.5 inch form factor, that's pretty standard. Mean time before failure is 1.2 million hours. Connection interface is SATA 3. 7200 RPMs, so let's run out. Access speed is 6.0 gigabytes a second.
Gigabits.
It's average latency is 4.16 milliseconds. Data transfer rate is 216 megabytes a second. That's 128 megs of cache. And trade rate is 70 and 40 respectively. This one comes with a 5-year warranty. This one is $367.90.
$306. Did you like pick the most expensive drives you could
Do you
find?
know how hard it is to find a 5 terabyte hard drive?
$367 seems high too.
It's easy to find a 4 and 6, but a 5 terabyte is.
That's 7 cents per gig.
7 cents. Okay.
Why you always find most expensive things? Every presentation you do.
Go big or go home.
Which one is going to get the $500 total to build a system? He's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I need $500 just for my case.
Yeah.
Okay, go down to the specifications.
Actually, I linked in the presentation, I linked the manual because that's where I got most of them. Because a lot of them weren't linked on here. That's all right.
Terabytes per year workload. Anybody have any questions for him?
Nope.
No? No questions?
Like I said, I linked the manuals in case you want to look at that. So, yeah.
Maverick wants to look at the manual later. He'd like you to send him a copy.
Yeah, could you?
We're excited.
Oh my
Holy
goodness.
cannolis.
Can't even see that.
Did you actually look at those, or did you just like
Yeah,
post a whole bunch
really-
of sites trying to make it so it was unreadable? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hunter.
Next.
Who's next?
Mr. Bull, actually.
Yeah.
Spin the wheel.
We spinning?
Bull.
Spin it.
Spin.
That would make a Cameron, right?
I mean,
Sid already
it's
went, right?
Yeah.
What? Why is that? Oh, you didn't make the link open in a new window, and you didn't share it with me.
Across access.
Rookies. Rookie mistakes.
Rookies. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Oh, there we go.
Ta-da!
And hopefully that's not your only slide.
Some fonts did not be loaded. It's not good.
Too bad, we're doing anyways.
Eric Cartman.
Oh, wait.
It's got those cash.
Summer Bull. My name's Eric Cartman. I'm here from Newegg. Oh. So far, I mean, it's going
And,
on. It's a rough time.
The board of directors says you may go now.
While I'm here to show you a traditional hard drive and a solid state drive. 500 gigabit SSD and a 4 terabit SATA. Our motherboard, this is our motherboard right here. Motherboard specs, it's 6 SATA 3 port, 1 M2 key, and it's supports SATA RAID, and it's a gaming motherboard. Our first company is Samsung. A little bit of background. Lee Byung-chul founded the company in 1938. Its headquarters are located in the Seocho district of South Korea. Samsung is a part of the electronics industry, and they have approximately 489,000 employees as of 2014. Here's a picture of our headquarters. This is our solid state drive right here. The specs.
The 860 Evo.
Yeah.
By the way, Samsung's current line is the 860, and it's either the Evo or the Pro. The Pros are more expensive, have longer warranties than the Evos, although we use Evos and Pros depending on what we're using them for. If I'm using them for stuff that like I don't use all the time, like the backup Moodle drives, I bought an Evo. If I'm using it for primary Moodle, I buy a Pro kind of thing. But anyway, go ahead.
Its size 500 gigabits. Its read speed is 550 megabytes per second. Its write speed is 520 megabytes per second. Has 1,500,000 hours mean time for failure, MLC. Its read is 10,000 IOPS, and its write is 42,000 IOPS. It's $77.99 with a 5-year limited time warranty.
What are we doing here?
I went to the.
What? Did you say your link didn't work? What?
No, my link works.
Oh, okay.
Little fake.
I can't see. He's in the way. Go back to your link. I didn't get to see it at all.
Go down to
What's our price per meg?
15 and a half cents.
You're on.
You are on.
Oh wait, do you want per meg?
No, forget it. I'm sorry. That's it. I didn't mean for meg.
So just 5,000.
I just showing you the motherboard again right here. Specs. Our next company is Max Digital. It's over 40 years of experience in the storage device business.
Max Digital.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that before.
Headquarters located in Costa Mesa, California. It's an extremely small business with not very many employees. There's the headquarters right there.
It's in a mall. It's in a strip mall. We got 7 people here making it. Our clean room is fantastic. We haven't smoked in there in weeks.
2 progenitors here.
This is our traditional hard drive right here.
Hold on, let's go back there. Hold on. Go back one.
You want to go back?
Yeah, I want to go back one.
You just want to see the
You went too fast. No, I just want to see that. Oh, it's the same picture. Never mind.
Make sure it isn't white.
Yeah.
Looks a little sus.
I'm questioning whether this is actually a white label drive or
Yeah.
not, considering how small their company is.
It's 4 terabit, 7200 RPM, 64 megabyte buffer size, SATA 3, 6 gigabit transfer rate, and has 1.2 million hour mean time for failure.
I need to redo my rubric. It's totally messed up in it. Should have SSD first, second. I should have had 2 specifications from other boards.
Its price is $69.99 with a 2-year warranty.
How much we got there? Max Digital, cached in, 4 terabyte, enterprise rated, digital hard drive. It sounds like it's a real drive.
Suspicious.
Sold by Go Hard Drives. Scroll down more. Let's see if there's any more on the. Okay, right there. I want to go to Q&A. See if I'd like to read the Q&As on this. See if there's anybody. Has anybody ever heard of this place before?
I never heard of this.
That's an old review. Look at that person. You need a good motherboard to take a drive this big, or an idiot that isn't installing.
Somebody asked why it's not a full 4 terabytes when they put it on. When they install it.
That's Windows taking it.
Okay.
1.7 cents per gig.
1.7 cents. Wait, what? Oh, got you. 0.017. Gotcha. You're switching.
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, that's
Okay.
It's a damn great. Next.
Ready to spin again. Here we go. Looks like Colin.
Mr. Do you want us to do our SSD first or HD?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't really
Because
matter.
I just swapped them.
Yeah, I wanted the SSD first, but I never changed the rubric to do it. So, Colin, you're going to take a hit for not being ready on time? Why? Why? Every single time you do it, when you get it done, it's like would have been 100% if you would have got it done on time. I vote you get them done on time from here on out.
Quality.
Okay, next.
Colin again.
So if we go around here, it would be Harry.
Harry.
It would be Harry.
If I deny it, does that mean you get a minus 20?
Oh, okay, well, good thing
No,
about it.
you're getting that.
Here, let me just grab a calculator so I can work out the gigabytes.
You don't need to do that.
That's what we're here
Gotcha.
for.
Yeah.
They're here to support you.
Bang, so easy.
Gotcha.
Why didn't
See,
you
when
tell
you
me
do
to
that
pick on
thing
my
right
last
there,
time?
go ahead.
Oh, I have a rubric for you. It's in my book bag.
It's competition.
Well, I need the rubric. I can't grade out of your book bag.
Just puts it in like red ink on the book bag. Extra
That
warm.
would be really awkward.
Want to get rid of that? Oh, you want to get rid of that right there? At least it's really in your face. You said the cell phone was that one.
No, I did not.
That's all you. No, it's only half me.
Can't print double.
Oh, I forgot. No way. I said they
Oh, okay.
Yes, reading it out. Reading's hard.
Why am I stuck on this page?
Are we guys doing that? Or are we taking a
What are
piece?
you doing, my guy?
Write my name. If you can't see that, that's issues.
What? Yeah, but
What declaration? What's your name?
I'm putting my James Madison on something.
There
There you go, trying to stay.
James Madison.
Oh my God, bro.
Jack, give me a hint.
Man style.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Very kind of jump.
like he was ready.
Okay.
Hi.
We're ready, Harry.
Hi, I'm Harry Potter, and I'm here to supply or show you your options for your secondary memory.
You're a wizard, dude.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so I'm showing you hard drives from the company of Seagate. Seagate is located in Cupertino, California. And their total revenue for last year was $11.2 billion. So, the motherboard we're finding you an SSD and an HDD for is the Asus 111. It has an M2 socket 3. It has 4 SATA 6 gigabyte per second connectors. And you requested a 250 gigabyte SSD for it. And this is your home computer. Okay, so I have found you the Seagate Barracuda 2.5-inch form factor
What do you
SSD.
call it? Seagate what?
Seagate Barracuda
Barracuda.
2.5-inch form
I
factor.
didn't hear you say Barracuda.
Okay, so
1 year warranty?
1 year warranty on parts and labor,
Mine takes
But
5
why
just
1
the same
year?
hard drive.
because that's what they put on Newegg.
Go to the manufacturer's website.
I tried that. I
Usually
can't
they
find
have
nothing
years.
on there except for data sheets, and it doesn't even say the warranty. So
Usually
250
they have
gigabytes. Reads 560 megabytes per second. Operating temperature is 0 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius, which is 32 degrees to 158 degrees Celsius. Storage temperature negative 40 degrees Celsius to 85 degrees Celsius, which is negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and 185 degrees Fahrenheit. The write speed is 530 megabytes per second. Its mean time before failure is 1.8 million hours. It has IOPS read up to 90,000 IOPS and write of up to 90,000 IOPS. It has a 1 year part and labor warranty, and the price is $52.99.
You get 5 years of this.
No.
You give me 4 years of no
I'm
serious.
just trying to get to the
40 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, I'm trying to click the link, but I can't get to the box keeps showing in the way.
What?
That's on you.
It's right here,
Why can't you get to it?
and every time I move the mouse close to it, the little box pops over.
What if you make it full screen?
Yeah, make it full screen. Come on, man.
There you go.
Ta-da!
Excuses.
Ta-da! And if I go, it has memory components, 3D, TLC, SATA 3.
You just let me do it.
And then if I go up here to warranty, 1 year parts, 1 year
I'm
labor.
pretty sure Seagate offers 5 years.
I'm Googling it right now, people.
Basically, using 4 years of savers right there. That thing would die.
And how do I get back to where I was?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Go down to the bottom to the block area on the bottom of the screen. Click on it.
Limited warranty
Down,
is
down,
actually
down.
2 years.
Okay,
So you're not getting screwed over that one.
now,
I show you going for a sec.
It's
Oh,
21
on the website right now.
21 cents per gigabyte.
another
Bam!
recap, okay? So,
Limited warranty.
M2 connector, M2 socket 3 connector, and 4 6 gigabyte per second connectors.
It's a
You
years.
requested a 1 terabyte HDD for your home computer.
I didn't mean to.
Okay, so I'm giving you the Seagate Barracuda HDD drive. It's 1 terabyte or 1,000 gigabytes. Latency is 6 gigabytes per second. 2-year warranty, parts and labor. The speed of 7,200 RPMs. It reads at 194 megabytes per second. Write at 192 megabytes per second. Price is $46.99.
Wow, that's slow.
That's a slow.
Well, it's a
thing.
home computer and
6
it's a cheap.
gigabits.
It's
I know
already set
I
for it.
said that. I'm just commenting that it's slow.
6 gigabytes per second.
That's barely
latency.
better than SATA 1.
I don't see any buffer on there.
What's our price per gig on this one?
Price per gig is
That is
$4.60.
Who's supposed to be doing the math here? What was the last one? I didn't write it down.
$1.52.
Maverick, shut up. It's 4.6 cents per gig.
And then
What was the last one in?
21 cents per gig.
4 is.
250 for 52
What was the
cents.
buffer?
4.6 cents.
6 cents.
Okay.
Go back to the slide.
What?
Go back to the slide. I have a question for you.
Which slide?
Is a hard drive slide.
Well, hold on a second. Let him finish where he's at.
Alrighty.
$46.99 for one. So this is a pretty big high price per terabyte.
Yeah.
No, this
I
one's,
mean-
sorry, 4.6 cents.
Right, but it's still more expensive than the other ones we've looked at for a large spinny drive, right?
Yeah.
The one from Max Digital was only 1.7 cents. The one from where was Daytona's? It was only 7 cents. This one's definitely, well, no, it was 7 cents. That's kind of high. Yours was kind of high too.
When is
What?
so when is it long?
It's always high. Literally everything.
What are you doing? What are we seeing you roam around to?
So, here's our specs. 6 gigabytes per second, it's 1 terabyte, 7,200 RPM, cache of 64 megabytes, average latency is 6 gigabytes per second. Form factor 3.5 inch, usage, daily computing.
So this is not a home gamer. This is more of a granny on the computer playing checkers with your friend in Idaho.
Yes, I just got that.
You see Idaho.
Yeah, Idaho. You know where they still hunt potatoes?
Okay, go ahead. Go back to your presentation. Sid has a question.
I think you're answered it, but oh well.
Question.
Okay, so we haven't got, that one was definitely slow. Okay, and what I'm trying to bring up as I ask these questions is when you guys go to look at a drive, don't just look at the overall cost, do the math, right? You want to see ones that have fast read and write speeds. That one would be stinky, right? Even as a data drive, that's pretty stinky. I wouldn't want to put anything on that drive. It's so slow, right? However, his solid state was the fastest SATA solid state we've seen. It was 570 meg. It was almost at the limit of SATA 3. So the solid state, and part of that because it's smaller, right? As you get bigger, it takes more time to go through the drive and find stuff. So read and write speeds get a little bit slower as you get bigger, not appreciably so. But yours was the fast read. Was yours a Pro? What? Go back to your solid state again. I don't remember what version. I didn't write it down.
It was a CA Barracuda.
Just hit the back arrow. Oh, okay. That's faster.
There you go. CD8 Barracuda 2-inch 2.5 inch form factor.
Go to that link.
I gotten
52 divided by 250. Shouldn't it be closer to 50 cents? No, you're right. No. Okay. So, don't question my math. I used a calculator for
He's
goodness
using
sake.
other scientific math and not working his project.
And it is a 3D TLC.
Okay. Okay, who's next?
That's the question.
What? Yeah, ask a question of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you have the IOPS and megabytes per second for that drive?
He didn't give them to
For
us.
the
did he?
SSD or the
Yeah,
HP?
go down to the. Did you or did you not?
The
Yeah,
SSD,
the IOPS,
yes,
but
I
not
did.
the,
I had the IOPS for the SSD.
But like
But
the
he didn't
conversion.
convert it.
Conversion?
No, he did not convert. Right?
Y'all can do calculator math per gigabyte. You can do IOPS too.
I can't do IOPS.
No, that you should have. The
That's
other
what
one.
you
The other one he
You
didn't
could have done on the
have.
presentation.
So, because we want to be able to see how to compare, because we can't just look at IOPS and compare that to a regular drive. However, we don't usually compare that anyways, right? You don't go and say, I want to know how much faster this solid state is than this traditional drive. You already know it's way, way faster. Okay, so really IOPS are ways to compare solid state drives to solid state drives. The only reason we're doing it is so that we have a comparison as we look at these presentations. But realistically, you wouldn't do that. You just go, okay, what's the IOPS on this one? What's the IOPS on this one? This one's way faster than this one, right? So, have we done an M2 yet? Nobody's done an M2
No one's
yet.
done an M2
Colin
yet.
had
I have one, but I'm not finished yet.
I like to point out I'm the only
How
one who
many-
had the degrees of storage and operating.
Yeah, this
But that's
is
wrong.
really low, though. Is storage temperature at 85 degrees?
Negative 40
That's
degrees
Celsius, 185
Oh,
Fahrenheit.
185, which is where we say things fail. The one somebody else had one that was 155, which means that, who is that? What yours was?
Not 158.
158,
That's backwards.
which is realistically low, right?
But negative 40 degrees
I mean, for
Celsius
storage
is not
temperature,
negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
that does seem a bit high.
As
I mean,
Yeah, those aren't a good conversion. Yeah,
you did your math.
that didn't convert. But
it's okay. Here, Celsius to degrees and
that's
Celsius.
okay.
is-
It's okay.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter that much. We're never going to be that cold. So I'm up in the Arctic with my
Oh, I
computer.
have
My
to
laptop
thank
won't
for
work. You got more
Sucks to be
problems that
you.
your LCD would
Oh,
be
I have to
frozen
sound
anyway.
terrible.
Because there is liquid in a liquid crystal display. Okay, so who we got left? We got, well, we'll spin because it's only fair before we take off points for people being late. Let's see who's supposed to go next.
This seems
Maybe Maverick. Are you
This
ready,
seems a
Maverick?
little unbalanced.
Why is that? Oh, because he's right
yeah.
next to you. That only is because it happened this time. I mean, next time it could be
Next time
the
it'll be-
opposite.
Next time first spin will be sad. Oh God.
It spins it again. Oh wait, no. It's not. Rick Sanchez.
It's the same dude every time.
I know. He switches companies.
Oh, yeah?
Switches
Yeah.
companies.
He gets fired a lot. So,
You got blind.
Imagine that.
hold on, I gotta take the mouse for just a second.
Yeah.
Okay, mouse. Oh, sorry.
Dirt.
Why am I here?
That's the question I have.
Go ahead, boy.
All right. My name is Rick Sanchez, and I'm here to present two different types of storages, secondary storages. So, like I said, I'm here to present two different types of storages. One will be a 1 terabyte SSD, and another will be a 3 terabyte hard disk drive. And these are the pictures of the drives. They'll have to be compatible with a specific motherboard you were shown earlier in the year. So this is the motherboard. It's a gamer motherboard. It has 6 SATA 3 connectors, 3 SATA Express connectors, 2 M2 sockets, and it supports RAID 0, 1, 5, and 10. And like I said, the hard drives you asked for was a 1 terabyte SSD and a 3 terabyte hard disk. Here's a picture of the motherboard.
Just check to make sure there's drives free. I mean, not drives, batteries still up there.
Okay, so the first company is ADATA, whatever. Main headquarters is in New Taipei, Taiwan. They've been in the business since 2001, so it's a fairly new business when it comes to other companies. As of 2017, they made $680 million, so compared to other companies, it is, again, smaller profits. And that's a picture of the main headquarters, and there it is in the map. And the other company will be Seagate. Its main headquarters is in Cupertino, California. They've been in business since 1978, but their first hard drive was in 1980. And they have made, as of last year, I think a little over $8 billion in sales. In there is where it is on the map, and a picture of their main headquarters. So the first hard drive will be the Seagate Barracuda. It'll be a 3 terabyte drive, 7,200 RPMs. Transfer rate 6 gigabits per second. Buffer 64 megabytes, and the annualized failure rate will be less than 1%. And that's a picture of the drive. It's also
Okay.
a 3.5.
So this is the
Yes.
first AFR we've had, isn't it? Nobody else has AFR.
Yeah.
So AFR is a number that I trust more than MTBF. Okay, that's saying of the ones that actually got bought and actually went out there, that less than 1% of them have been bad. Okay, so I trust that number. The MTBF is hypothetical. Obviously, 200 plus years. No one's tested that, right? So how to, that's why it's like it is definitely hypothetical because no hard drive business has been around for 200
I mean,
years.
Samsung's getting close.
Not really.
200 years? No,
I
I don't think so.
Close is.
Plus, their original drives are not being used anymore. They're all somewhere in a landfill. So AFR gives me a number that I can actually look at and go, okay, now less than 1%. What does that mean? Does that mean 0.99999? I don't know. But it's still, if it said AFR is less than 10%, I'd be like, not buying you. Right? Because I don't want to have a 10% chance of my drive going bad. Anyway, go ahead.
For the cost of warranty, the cost is $89.49. Warranty, it'll have a 2-year limited. Yep, and there's a screenshot of it. Ooh.
I'm sure you gotta come with that.
So, 2.8 cents. Is that what you got?
Colin, you're not on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what I got.
Okay.
I actually got 2.9, but the price is different. That says 89.49.
Well,
and that says,
it's on sale.
Yeah. So that would be nice.
Alright.
Which seems good. That seems like a good price, right? I mean, so far compared to other ones, the only one that's been cheaper has been the one from a company that we've never heard of before. Just started making them out of the back of their pickup truck last week.
Questions?
Maybe,
What was the warranty?
2-year limited.
maybe Harrison couldn't find the right drive, so he just paid a company.
Just like photoshopped in some names on a mall from New Paris. It's like, yeah, they just started up last week.
People won't believe it. Alright, next is the ADATA Ultimate SU800. It'll be a 1 terabyte SSD. Max read will be 560 megabytes per second. And the max write will be 520 megabytes per second. For read, it'll be 90,000 IOPS, and for write, 80,000. That's for read 351.56 megabytes per second. I don't have the write yet, right? This is an SLC drive, and the mean time before failure is 2 million hours.
What does that mean that it's an SLC drive?
It will be the faster of the 3 because it only stores 1 bit of information per cell on the drive.
What else does it mean if it's an SLC in general?
More expensive.
It's usually more expensive because it will also
The cells don't get wore down.
it'll last longer. Okay, so the cells don't wear out as fast as an MLC or TLC. So theoretically, an SLC of those 3 versions will last longer. Now the 3D NAND thing is new. How does it compare? Well, as far as they say 3D NAND will last longer. It hasn't been around long enough for actually a lot of reviews to come out and say how long 3D NAND lasts in comparison. By the way, 90% of the student drives are ADATAs. That's what we bought. That's what most of you guys have is ADATA drives. They were the least expensive by a company I'd actually heard of before. We tried KingSpec, and ADATA has been great on returns and stuff, so it's been a good company compared to KingSpec. If it has the word King in it, don't buy it. There was another one, King Win, KingSpec, something like that. Yeah, we put in multiple RMAs on there, and they didn't even get back to it. So anyway, ADATA has redone every drive that we've had go bad, and we've had less ADATAs go bad than we have Kingston's, which nobody's done a presentation on, which I assumed Kingston would be. And Kingston's great about returns, but they've had more go bad. Okay, and I'm just talking from our point of view, how many we've had.
Alright. Next is the cost of warranty. The cost will be $142.99. The warranty will be a limited 3-year warranty, and there's a picture of something. Want to see anything? Anybody?
So we're looking at 14 cents
Yeah.
per terabyte on this SSD. Is that the least expensive SSD? Anybody keep track of their own at all? 21 cents on that one. 15 cents on the Evo. We don't even need to look at Daytona's because he's got the price. All right, so it is. It's the least expensive one so far per gig for the SSD.
Anything?
Anybody else got any questions?
Oh, right there. Yeah. Questions? Yeah.
Could I operate this drive if my room was 186 degrees?
God knows why your room would be 186 degrees, but all right. That'd be on here.
You never know.
I wouldn't say
no.
storage.
No.
That's not usage.
Oh yeah, trick question because it'd be that.
Well,
If it was 186 degrees.
yeah, because 185 is one.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 85C, is that the same thing?
What form factor is it?
85C is equal to
2.5.
what in Fahrenheit?
Hold on.
Isn't it just 185?
Are we doing?
That's what I said earlier.
What's
is
the-
that the same number?
Are we happening?
Yeah, you're right.
No, we don't do it.
Yeah.
What's the read write speed?
Read 560 megabytes per second max.
You didn't have to
Right.
do the math even. All the math and everything there. Okay.
I wish I could do that. I know how to do math.
All right, any more questions?
Can you go back to your hard drive side? I need to look at something.
He's trying to delay for his brother. So
Don't
they've got a little twin thing going on here, trying to help each other out.
Telekinesis
I've got some
powers.
other questions. Oh no.
Your telekinesis power, Sid.
So nobody had a 5400 speed drive so far. Everybody had 7200 speed drives. 5400, it seems to be going. 5400 was old. We got to 72, and then all of a sudden they started making green drives. That they were like, oh, it'll use less energy, therefore it's green. So we make these 5400 speed drives, and then they made variable speed drives that would speed up and slow down. But the thing is, I think they seem to be going away. I think they had maintenance issues, that's the best way I can say it, with them, that they seem to not be as reliable, the ones that changed the speeds, versus it's just 7200 or it's just 5400. So I think it was kind of a fad, the green, because is it really green? Because it spins slower. I don't know.
Ultimately, it would be great.
Yeah, I don't know if that really makes it a green. I mean, how much does it save in power versus it's going to spin up when you need it and it's going to stop? Basically, the motor's going to stop when you don't because they park themselves. They don't have brakes, but they stop spinning when they're not used. Which is why there's no delay on a solid state drive. But if you haven't used, because like my computer's got a solid state and then 2 spinnies on both of them, and I'm using spinning as a Trojan horse. And I'll go to click on it, and I'll sit there waiting for 5 or 10 seconds before it actually opens anything on the drive because it's basically hasn't been used, so it stopped spinning altogether. Just sat there going. And most power saving settings on your computer say if they haven't been used for 10 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever your power saving is, then put it to sleep, which just basically means it turns the power off to the motor. So that seems greener than anything else.
SSDs don't ever power off?
No. They just don't use that much power. I was confused that one of you guys had power during the write and power during the read, and it had more power during the read. Why would it take more power to read something than it would to write something? Not even making any changes. That seems weird. I've never seen that before.
Maybe he doesn't like reading.
You can.
And no other questions from? Okay, we got to see your works cited. I'm excited to see a really good works cited.
He's excited.
Oh, you never seen
I'm
my work cited.
excited to see and there's no.
Oh,
There's no. What does it usually come up? That you guys. That was so-
robot.
Yes, no robots on there.
yeah, I remember that.
So excellent job, Mr. Peck. Seth, you are the next contestant, but we're going to take a 2-minute break while people get out.
I'm just trying to find your boo.
Roll.
Jordan. I go.
Oh.
There's a 50 chance.
Okay, so
You have like one of those power, one
Whoops.
like 6.
wattage. I don't think it says it on here.
I'm stealing the mouse.
I
a second.
chain
Hold
all
on.
of my power out. All my power
It's all
charges.
plugged into one.
I can't find you.
Okay,
The
go
wattage,
ahead.
but I can
Sorry.
find it on our website.
Okay, so the A60 Pro, what's the warranty on this one again?
5-year warranty
Okay.
and a.
The 850 Pros had a 10-year, so the 850s were a longer warranty than the 860s. Why? I don't know why the Pros lowered their warranty. Maybe because
Logan
people
said
aren't going to
so
really
today,
use a
boys.
SSD for more than
I'm
5
gonna need
years.
that warranty all 10 years of it.
Oh, you plugged it instead.
Well, they're still limited to the number of writes. So if you go, like we returned an 850, and in order to return the 850 Pro to Samsung, we had to do their software and say how many terabytes of write it had, and we were just short of the warranty, even though it was only a year and a half old. So even though they say the warranty is 10 years, it's really 10 years or more writes than we said you can do on this drive.
Yep.
And so if you get over the write number,
Yeah.
so is that what that one is? Hold on, go back one.
Yeah.
So it's
2,400.
2,400 terabytes written in 5 years. So if you go over the 2,400 terabytes, which is a lot of writing, but the problem on every one of our drives, we're not going to see that other than Moodle, because there's so much database changes every single time you guys submit and do something, and it's the Moodle drive that we're out.
Whichever comes first, that's what warranty is. So I got the Samsung 970 EVO 500 gigabyte M2 with the PCI Gen 3 X4 slot. Oh, yeah. Has a capacity of 500 gigabytes. Read speed of 3,400 megabytes per second with QD1 up to 15,000 IOPS, QD32 up to 370,000 IOPS. With write speed is 2,300 megabytes per second. QD1 up 50,000 and QD32 up to 450,000 IOPS. That's fast. And it does the same warranty as the other one with the 2,400 terabyte written and 5-year warranty. And it has a 1.5 million MTBF.
Those things are
And it's it's MLC. It comes with an MSRP of $183.60.
1,000 megabytes per second speed. Dang.
What do they say in Jurassic Park? Yeah, hold on to your butt.
I can't hold on.
Okay, so
Where we're going, we
So
don't
yeah,
need
on this
the
one, look at it's 3,400 megabytes per second on the M.2 drive. So the fastest we saw was 570, right?
560.
It's,
Got it correct.
It's one of ours.
Had it correct.
That's it. Oh,
6
well,
times
we're about to
faster.
dust.
Oh my god.
You and your PCIe drive.
6 times faster. Is
Yeah,
super
so
cheap.
we're looking at the M2 is obviously multiple times faster than, what do we say, 6 point something times faster than the
Here's
fastest
your wattage.
SSD. Now, does it matter for most stuff? Probably not. Probably for a lot of things it doesn't. But our Moodle is now on a 2 terabyte M.2 drive. Our Moodle rating, as far as there's a performance thing, it's like off their charts as far as.
Oh yeah, they don't expect us to.
No, they don't expect anybody to do that with the M2. But anyway, so these drives, and you look at the IOPS instead of 90,000, 450,000. I mean, it's an M.2 drive, and they're relatively new. M.2 drives, only came around in the last couple of years. And when the motherboards originally came out, there's only one M.2 port. Now many of you guys had 2 or 3 M.2 ports on your drives. They still don't do RAID. Generally, I've never seen one that does. But do you need RAID when it's already going 6 times faster than
Oh yeah, let's run RAID 0 on it.
that would be something.
So it's only $183. And what was the size of this one?
500 gigabyte.
So how much is that per gig? I closed my calculator.
Question.
18 cents, I'm guessing.
So,
About
what is the price per kilobyte?
36 cents.
Price per
No,
gigabyte.
it's not bad.
Kilobyte.
36
Kilobytes?
cents.
Yeah.
So that's that is the most expensive as far as price per gigabytes that we've had, right? Even more expensive than Daytona's. But
the speed makes up
but
for
it's the
everything.
speed, right? It's what do I want, right? So
It
I
is
mean,
what
this
penny
if you
from
were
you
trying to
guys.
build the best gamer system you could, there's what I would do. I would have this down as my operating system drive. A 500 gig one's more than enough for most things, okay? And then have a really nice 5 or 6 terabyte spinny drive for all my data and my lesser programs, right? What do I mean by lesser programs? Microsoft Office is a lesser program, okay? When I open it up, it's so small, I don't go to it very often, it's not going to slow down my ability to write a paper or make a presentation. What isn't? No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky loads in like 10 seconds now when I put it to an SSD versus several minutes. I'd go get my coffee. Well, let's go. Anybody play No Man's Sky? No? Anyways, I don't have money, okay? So, my kids always give me a game for Christmas that they want us all to play together. So every year I get a Christmas game. Because I want a game too. So I'm like, you guys decide what I get for Christmas and make it something we all play together. So No Man's Sky was one year's purchase.
That's great.
Okay, go ahead. We're almost done.
What's more exciting? Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? No. Nothing.
Is that the only M2 we've had? You guys saw me install that, right? It's just one screw. It just goes in and screws in.
Yeah. You guys more excited?
Seems limited. Seems like there should be more than that. Small. Is it bell about to ring? You look like you're packing up. You're ready to go or something.
Well, it's nothing personal.
And it's the Atom Bomb dropping off.
Okay, thank you, Adam Bomb. Okay, so let's talk about our plan for. Where'd my mouse go?
Over there.
The plan going forward with first of all, obviously we're going to get one lap. We didn't have time for another presentation anyway, right? So we'll get our last presentation next class, and then we're going to stop for a little bit. Okay, stop as far as we're not going to march forward anymore in the course. Next class we're going to do breakdowns and put back togethers, and we're going to talk about repairing PCs, what we do it, and specifically the last two components, memory and hard drive. Those are the two things that in my experience have gone bad the most on computers. So I want to talk about how we notice those errors, how we diagnose those errors, and how we obviously fix those errors if we can for those two components. Power supplies also, but we've already talked about power supplies, and we pull the power supplies out and put them back in every single time. We'll probably retest our power supplies just to remind you guys how to do that, because when we get to the final exam, some of you guys are going to have power supply failures, some are going to have hard drive failures, some are going to have memory failures, because those are the most common things you actually have in a PC. Okay? CPU failures, extremely rare. Motherboard failures, we had a stream of one kind of motherboard that Dell put out that did fail, and what happened on all those was, and then generally the only motherboard failure I've ever heard of that's widespread is the capacitors failed. All these are capacitors on the motherboard, things that look like kind of little tiny batteries, and the capacitors hold a charge as it goes through the motherboard, and they maintain that power as it goes through there. They kind of work as a little, it's not what they're made for, but they kind of work as little surge protectors on the motherboard as well. And we had a whole string of PCs that we got from the military that they had bad capacitors in them, and you can see on the top of a capacitor there's like a T on there. If you want to pass it around and look at the capacitor, and basically that T is where the capacitor kind of fails and breaks, and you'll see it pop open there at that weak point, and like brownish goo coming out of the top of the capacitor. And so you can, on a motherboard that has gone or is going bad, if I look down there and I see any of those popped open, I know that motherboard is either already bad or is going bad. If that happens, theoretically, if you were really good, you could get a new capacitor and solder that out of the motherboard and put it back in. I will tell you, I've never done that because I don't consider myself that good at soldering. I think you'd have to have some advanced schooling in how to solder a motherboard well to be able to replace one of those. All those are good on those, but I should have kept one that was particularly bad so you could see. So really, a motherboard, if it goes bad, is a complete replacement. Okay, it's not a usually I resolder pieces on a motherboard, and CPUs. I have never really had one that I thought that good. First of all, you can't tell the difference between a CPU and a motherboard that goes bad in general, unless you have spare CPUs to swap them out and see if that fixed the problem. So you kind of treat them as one unit when that goes bad. If you can't fix it with the power supply or memory, which why am I not adding a hard drive in there when I say that? Okay, because it doesn't matter when I go to boot. Okay, I have to have a working motherboard, CPU, memory, and power supply. That's all I need to boot up a PC. And when we go to troubleshoot, what we generally do is unplug everything except for those 4 things. If I've got my hard drive disconnected, my CD-ROM disconnected, nothing plugged into the USB, and I push the power button and it won't boot, then it's got to be one of those 4 things. It's got to be memory, CPU, motherboard, or the power supply. And the easy, low-hanging fruit is the power supply, because all I have to do is unplug it, plug it into my power supply tester, push the button again. Okay, the power supply is good or bad. Now I know, well, that's not my problem. Okay, and then the next thing I can do is memory. It's not booting. The only way to test memory is to put it in something that does boot, or to just put in a known good stick of memory in there and all of a sudden it works or it doesn't. If I've replaced the hard drive or tested the hard drive, if I replaced the memory or tested the memory and it still won't boot, the only thing left is the motherboard and the CPU, and I generally can't do anything about that, and you will not get those broken on your file.
Can, like you were talking about the USB ports, right? So can a drive on a mouse or keyboard cause something to not work?
Absolutely. I've had keyboards keep whole PCs from booting before.
Wow.
Bad keyboard. And it drove me crazy. I'd go down, the teacher's computer didn't work. I'd bring it back here, and I'd set it up here, because I don't bring the keyboard and mouse back, right? And I'd set it up, and it's like, it works fine. What the heck? So I take it back down there, and I plug everything back in, and I can't get it to turn on again. It turns out it was her keyboard that was keeping the whole PC from booting entirely. What did it? I don't know, but if that keyboard was plugged in, that PC did not start. So you have to try it with nothing plugged in. Obviously you have to have video plugged in to see it, but usually the video part is part of the computer. See you guys next class.
What she didn't tell you was that she dumped all the sugar.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know whether it's something